Listed measurements: 6 foot 4 1/8, 309 pounds, 2018-19 year. Eligibility: senior with 2 years of eligibility remaining including the 2018 depth chart. Dew-Treadway should be considered the third stringer at both defensive tackle positions. While senior Jerry Tillery and sophomore Myron Tagovailoa-Amosa will get most of the snaps at the 3 technique position, and fifth-year Jonathan Bonner and sophomore Kurt Hinish will handle most of the duties at nose, neither spot has reliable depth aside from the untested senior. Recruiting: a consensus 3-star, Dew-Treadway's size alone made him a notable recruit. If his size could be developed with time in a college weight room, the Irish coaches may have found a contributing piece. That time in a college weight room began a semester early, with Dew-Treadway enrolling in the spring of 2015. Career to date: Dew-Treadway has not made a tackle for Notre Dame. A year ago, that opening sentence pointed out his lack of a game in his career to that point, but in 2017 he saw action in 9 games. A broken foot cost Dew-Treadway all of 2016, while he preserved a year of eligibility his freshman, needing to develop the aforementioned strength and conditioning. Quotes: Tillery's switch to 3 technique from nose tackle led to Irish head coach Brian Kelly pointing to Dew-Treadway as part of the viable depth at nose which made the move possible. Bonner will be back with us and we'll move him to the nose, Kelly said following the Blue-Gold game on April 21. Kurt Hinish: Micah Dew-Treadway, so we think we've got 3 guys there, even moving Jerry to the 3 technique. We've still got great depth at that position. Last fall, Dew-Treadway's appearances were typically when games were out of reach one way or another. During Notre Dame's 49-14 victory over USC on October 21, he made a particular impression on Kelly. When they get their opportunity, they have to make us notice them. It's not our job to notice them, it's their job, Kelly said. Dew-Treadway has done the same thing. There's a bunch of guys on the cusp defensively. Dew-Treadway is a guy that you're going to see that is ascending in terms of what he's doing in practice. What was projected a year ago, sometimes a player's size alone gets him on the field. That could be the case with Dew-Treadway this. Notre Dame simply does not have many other 300-pound options to clog the middle. That was essentially the reasoning behind recruiting the raw prospect. Kelly mentioned Dew-Treadway's work in the weight room. If that work is legitimate, a new director of football performance Matt Bayless is able to get the most out of it, then Dew-Treadway's tangible skills may be catching up to his size. One may be tempted to include the adverb finally in that previous sentence, but that would not be fair to Dew-Treadway. It made sense to spend his freshman campaign on the sidelines, and a foot fracture robbed him of the chance to get a handful of snaps in each game last. If he does not see notable action this year, such a disappointed syntax would be quickly appropriate. Dew-Treadway should be able to, at least, fill the middle for 10 snaps a game and total a couple tackles that are behind the line of scrimmage. More than that would be a welcome gift for defensive coordinator Mike Elko. By no means has Bonner excelled so much that the opening is not there for Dew-Treadway to push for more opportunity. 2018 outlook: the greatest mistake in last year's projection was not in how it pondered Dew-Treadway, but in how it diminished the expectations of Bonner and, to a lesser extent, the 2 then freshmen, Hinish and Tagovailoa-Amosa. Bonner held the point of attack in the middle better than anyone expected, a large part of the reason he now moves to nose, where that is the exact primary responsibility. Not to repeat the same errors of the past, but underestimating Bonner again may be the key to best assessing Dew-Treadway's coming. Bonner did not partake in much of the spring's strength and conditioning work while recovering from a wrist injury. If that hampers Bonner at all in the fall, be it the wrist itself or a drop-off in his fitness, then both Hinish and Dew-Treadway will be needed much more. With a healthy Bonner, then Dew-Treadway simply must provide vital interior depth at both 3 technique and nose. That depth should keep the other 4 tackles both healthier and fresher, furthering their effectiveness. Down the road, the Irish may face a genuine scholarship crunch this recruiting cycle, making fifth-year projections in 2019 even more difficult to get a handle on than usual. Dew-Treadway's performance this fall will help the coaching staff make that determination, whereas usually any and all defensive line depth is welcomed. Similarly, the day one physical readiness of incoming freshman tackles Jamian Franklin and Jason Ademilola will influence how expendable and necessary Dew-Treadway may be. If Dew-Treadway makes as many as a dozen tackles in 2018, that should secure his place in the depth chart in 2019. If it is another fall of unproductive garbage time appearances, then the scholarship slot may be worth more than defensive line depth. Notre Dame 99-2, number 99 Jerry Tulare, defensive tackle listed measurements, 6 foot 6 3/4, 299 pounds 2018-19 year, eligibility, senior with only one of eligibility remaining. Depth chart, Tulare will start as the 3-technique tackle, flipping from nose tackle a year ago. Recruiting, a consensus 4-star, Tulare was recruited as an offensive tackle in large part due to his length. Career to date. For the first time in his Notre Dame career, Tulare completed a without a disciplinary issue in 2017. Perhaps more notably, he started all 13 games and made 56 tackles, including 9 for loss with 4.5 sacks. Unlike much of the Irish defense, Tulare even finished the strong, making 3 tackles behind the line of scrimmage in the regular finale at Stamford. Tulare has 105 career tackles. Quotes: there are 2 storylines regarding Tulare as he approaches his final collegiate. First of all, his maturity has extended past off-field interests and into on-field leadership. The most obvious sign of that was the simple act of playing each game in its entirety last year. Behind the scenes, Tulare was at least somewhat considered as a captain this spring. He led a SWAT team through the winter, a distinct signal of the coaching staff's growing belief in him as a program standard-bearer. I think Tulare would tell you that his time here at Notre Dame has been extremely formative for him, Irish head coach Brian Kelly said in mid-April. He's learned a lot. He's made some mistakes. It's been a journey for him. This year, he's been forced to be a leader much more than he's ever been at any time. As far as performance concerns go, Tulare's move to the 3-technique has led to talk of his playmaking potential not yet seen at capacity. In a lot of ways, the 3-technique position is where you want to have your most disruptive and athletic player, defensive coordinator Clark Lee said April 17. Tulare is a guy that in pass rush can have an impact from that spot, not always drawing the double team that the nose does. It's not that he didn't do the nose position well. It's the skill for the 3-technique is unique and we identified the things that he does well as being conducive to having success in that role. He's already made his presence felt there. What was projected a year ago, Tulare does not have a track record of acting like a leader needs to. More than increasing his tackles for loss tally, Notre Dame will need Tulare to show a young positional group how to proceed. Then, obviously, an increase in tackles for loss and overall tackles would be much appreciated by defensive coordinator Micah Dew-Treadway. Frankly, both should come just from sheer opportunity available in the middle. For context, former Irish defensive tackle Jaron Jones finished the 2016 with 45 tackles, including 11 for loss. If there is any archetype for Tulare, it was the 6'5", 315-pound Jones. Admittedly, Tulare does not have the arm length of Jones, but very few do. Most of them end up on the hardwood, not the gridiron. By the end of his Notre Dame career, Jones went from a fun-loving definition of potential to a leader who excelled individually in concentrated bursts. 2018 outlook: Tulare at least met expectations last and, considering the defensive line's overall success, he arguably exceeded them. The position switch once again raises those intended standards. If Tulare does not match last year's 9 tackles for loss, should that be considered a disappointment? Perhaps not outright. Nothing should be determined that unilaterally. However, if Tulare does not routinely find his way into the backfield and disrupt opposing offensive coordinators' best-laid plans, that may be reason for wanting more. He should be able to do that, though. The Irish now have trusted depth at defensive tackle, whereas a year ago it was utterly unknown entering the. Tulare does not need to be counted on for too much. Sophomore Myron Tagovailoa-Amosa and senior Micah Dew-Treadway can provide him plenty of relief. Fresh legs should thus lead to more notable stops. Tulare matching last year's 56 tackles, 9 tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks should indicate greater successes for a defensive front as a whole. Down the road, the move to 3-technique from nose tackle comes in part because Tulare pondered entering the NFL this winter. The switch becomes a win-win. He can make some plays, perhaps boost his sack count and with it, his draft stock. The Notre Dame defense reaps the rewards of a more athletic, dynamic centerpiece to its defensive line while fifth-year Jonathan Bonner holds the point of attack at nose tackle. A total of 10 defensive tackles were selected in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. The demand will certainly be there for Tulare if he puts together a complete senior. It is the most wonderful time of year. Wait, no, that is reserved for late December. It is the most exciting time of year. No, that's not right. That is either the third week of March or the peak of the college football, mid-November. It is the most thorough time of year. That sounds about right, as it is time for the annual series of profiles of each and every scholarship player expected to be on Notre Dame's roster this coming fall, a tradition unlike any other started by this space's former innovator, Keith Arnold. The NCAA's guidelines will allow the Irish to begin preseason practice August 3rd, a Friday. Logic indicates Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly will hold an introductory press conference on or about the preceding Wednesday, August 1st. In other words, Kelly will next offer thoughts on the 2018 in 87 days. That is a pertinent number, considering the Irish roster currently has 87 players on it, 2 more than the NCAA maximum allowed in all listed below. Depending just when that inevitable attrition occurs, the minimum of 2 departing players may or may not be profiled in the series. Again this year, just like last summer, the articles will flow from number 99 to number 2, from senior defensive tackle Jerry Tulare to sophomore linebacker Jordan Genmark Heath. Proceeding by jersey number leads to more of a position group trend, giving each profile more context. Following a discussion of Tulare with a look at senior defensive tackle Micah Dew-Treadway, number 97, makes more sense than placing fifth-year linebacker Drew Tranquil after Tulare. Plus, the numeral progression includes the harmless parlor game of guessing the jersey numbers of the 20 incoming freshmen. Tackles Jamian Franklin and Jason Ademilola certainly seem ripe for NOS, 92 and 93. The thoroughness commences Tuesday with Tulare. More images of Notre Dame's coming practice facility project a defensive depth chart, QB, senior. Brandon Wimbish 2 remaining years of eligibility entering 2018 junior. Ian Book 3 incoming FR. Phil Jurkovec 4, RB, senior. Dexter Williams 1 junior. Tony Jones 3 so. Jafar Armstrong 4 so. Avery Davis 4 early enrolled FR. Jameer Smith 4 incoming FR. CBO Flemister 4. WR Boundary, so. Michael Young 3 senior. Chris Finke 2 incoming FR. Lawrence Keys 4. WR Field, senior. Miles Boykin 2 junior. Javon McKinley 3 early enrolled FR. Micah Jones 4 incoming FR. Kevin Austin 4. WR Slot, junior. Chase Claypool 2 5th-year. Freddie Canteen 1 incoming FR. Braden Lenzy 4. T, senior. Elize Mack 2 so. Cole KMET 3 5th-year. Nick Waisha 1 so. Brock Wright 3 early enrolled FR. George Takacs 4 incoming FR. Tommy Tremble 4. Lieutenant, junior. Liam Eichenberg 3 so. Josh Lugg 4 incoming FR. Cole Mabry 4. LG, 5th-year. Alex Bars 1 Lugg. C, 5th-year. Sam Mustafa 1 Bars senior. Trevor Ruland 2 incoming FR. Luke Jones 4. RG, junior. Tommy Creamer 3 so. Dylan Gibbons 4 incoming FR. John Dirksen 4. RT, so. Robert Hainsey 3 so. Aaron Banks 4 incoming FR. Jarrett Patterson 4. Projected defensive depth chart drop end, junior. Dalen Hayes 2 junior. Julian Okwara 2 so. Kofi Wardlow 4. 3 technique tackle, senior. Jerry Tulare 1 so. Myron Tagovailoa Amosa 3 senior. Micah Dew-Treadway 2 incoming FR. Jason Ademilola 4. Nose tackle, 5th-year. Jonathan Bonner 1 so. Kurt Hinish 3 so. Darnell Ewell 4 incoming FR. Jamian Franklin 4. Strong end, junior. Khalid Kareem 2 junior. Adia Gunda G3 junior. Jameer Jones 3 incoming FR. Justin Ademilola 4. Buck Pound, 5th-year. Drew Tranquil 1 so. Jordan Genmark Heath 3 junior. DJ Morgan 3 early enrolled FR. Jack Lamb 4 so. Drew White 4. Mike Pound, senior. Tevin Coney 1 junior. Jonathan Jones 3 early enrolled FR. Bo Bauer 4 so. David Adams 4. Rover, senior. Asmar Bilal 2 so. Jeremiah Owusu Koromo 4 so. Isaiah Robertson 3 incoming FR. Shane Simon 4 early enrolled FR. Oviog Halfo 4. Field CB, junior. Troy Pride 2 senior. Sean Crawford 2 incoming FR. Tariq Bracy 4 incoming FR. Joe Wilkins 4. Boundary CB, junior. Julian Love 2 junior. Dante Vaughn 2 incoming FR. Noah Boykin 4 incoming FR. DJ Brown 4. Nickelback, Senior. Nick Coleman 1. Crawford, Safety, Junior. Awi Gilman 3. Coleman Early Enrolled FR. Houston Griffith 4. Incoming FR. Paul Moala 4. Safety, Junior. Jalen Elliott 2. Junior. Devin Studstill 2. Senior. Nico Furtiter 1. Incoming FR. Derek Allen 4. Punter, 5th year. Tyler Newsome 1. Place kicker, Senior. Justin Yoon 1. Kickoff specialist, So. Jonathan Dura 3. Long snapper, Junior. John Shannon 3. Inside the Irish reading, Notre Dame's draftees, undrafted free agents and depth charts. Mark Heath's move shows both Notre Dame's need for linebacker depth surplus safeties. Consensus 4-star Ol Quinn Carroll chooses Notre Dame over home state Minnesota. Barr's ascension to Notre Dame captain underscores offensive line's team-wide influence. A competition in name only. Notre Dame's 1A and 1B QBs, Wimbish and Book, a 2017 concern. Notre Dame's defensive line now leaves little for questioning. Improved safeties should lead to even better showings from Notre Dame's cornerbacks. Claypool's emotions could set the ceiling on Notre Dame's receivers outside reading. The Packers sign linebacker Greer Martini. Mandel's mailbag. Favorite stadium traditions, including Virginia Tech's entrance dollar. Stuart Mandel's post-spring college football top $25. ESPN to televise 35 bowl games. Their schedule. Navy QB Zach Abbey moves to wide receiver when junior receiver Chase Claypool caught 6 passes for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns in Notre Dame's blue-gold game on April 21. It elicited memories of his performance against Wake Forest in November, setting the 2017 highs for the entire Irish receiver corps in both receptions and yards. That afternoon, Claypool pulled in 9 catches for 180 yards and a touchdown against the Demon Deacons. Otherwise, Claypool's career highs are 4 receptions and 56 yards, both set in the September victory at Michigan State. In 9 of his 12 games last, Claypool failed to make as many as 3 catches. That does not count the Citrus Bowl, which Claypool missed due to a shoulder injury. No matter the level of quarterback play, Notre Dame needs its number 2 receiving target to fare a bit better than that, certainly more consistently. In this instance, that begins with Claypool's emotions. "We talk about where my intensity level is at," he said following the spring exhibition. "Either it's too low and I'm just not moving around, or it's too high and I'm too amped up, screaming." Irish head coach Brian Kelly wants me right in the middle. I'm making plays, going on to the next play, and then when my series is done and I'm off, then I can celebrate. This may seem unusual for football, a game where emotions run high and nearly every better than okay play is celebrated with gusto. A sack is followed by a dance or a pantomimed bowling motion. A 5-yard rush creates an opportunity for joy, at the very least. A first down catch is only completed in the receiver's mind when he signals for the chains to move before even the referee does, though Claypool insists pounding his chest is his move of choice. It is likely Claypool finishes among Notre Dame's leading receivers again in 2018, exiting the spring behind senior Miles Boykin in any projections, but alongside sophomore Michael Young in the starting conversation. Even though Claypool began the spring finale with the second string, he should be in figurative starting lineup in the fall. The starting designation may end up a matter of semantics, hinging on how many tight ends and/or running backs line up for the first Irish play from scrimmage each Saturday. "It's nice knowing that my hard work has carried over," Claypool said. "I don't have to take a step back. Just going to keep working and hoping make the same production of this game in the first game against Michigan." If Claypool catches 6 passes and 2 touchdowns against the Wolverines 119 days away, if wondering, he will have plenty of chances to pound his chest. The Irish coaches simply hope he passes up a few of those opportunities. The dramatic, Citrus Bowl winning 55-yard touchdown catch set the stage for senior receiver Miles Boykin to have a strong spring and surge into the leading role in the Irish passing game. App photo, John Rowe. Where Notre Dame is at receiver. Notre Dame lost leading receiver Equanimous St. Brown and top touchdown catcher Kevin Stepherson this offseason. If Claypool had put forward a strong and consistent spring, he may have taken the mantle as number 1 receiver, which instead seems to have landed at Boykin's feet following his Citrus Bowl heroics. Recovering from the shoulder surgery did slow Claypool at the beginning of spring practice, limiting those chances. Senior Chris Finke's steadiness will keep Boykin, Claypool and Young on edge. If one slips, this spring Finke continued to show himself ready to step into their place. As for tight ends, not a whole lot needs to be said that has not been discussed at length already. Senior Alizé Mack will be looked to star, and if he does not, sophomore Cole Kmet provides an additional vertical threat while fifth-year Nick Weisha brings back his strong hands for red zone considerations. Sophomore Brock Wright should contribute as a blocker as he did in his debut year. Where Notre Dame's receivers will be, freshman Micah Jones enrolled early this spring, an advantage receivers coach Del Alexander does not expect to see manifest itself until the fall. Jones will be joined by three classmates this summer, Lawrence Keys, Kevin Austin and Braden Lenzy. If Lenzy arrives physically ready to contribute, his speed alone will likely get to him on the field. Boykins and Claypool's greatest physical attributes are their size and height, though neither is anything close to slow. Young and Finke are more quick than they are fast. Lenzy should offer a speed threat currently lacking in the Irish receivers core. Boundary receiver, Young Finke. Field receiver, Boykin Javon McKinley Jones. Slot receiver, Claypool Freddie Canteen. Tight end, Mac Kmet Weisha Wright. Freshman receivers yet to arrive, Keys Austin Lenzy. Freshman tight ends yet to arrive, Takacs and Tommy Tremble. For every praise of Notre Dame's cornerbacks' performance in 2017, some slight portion of it should go toward mitigating the criticisms of the Irish safeties. While Julian Love broke up 20 passes and picked off 3 passes, all of the safeties combined for 5 breakups and no interceptions. At some of those moments, though, Love could break on a pass because he trusted the safety behind him to provide support. Hard as it may be to believe, and partly because there was hardly anywhere to go but up, Notre Dame's safeties showed improvement this spring. Juniors Jalen Elliott and Alwee Gilman emerged as a starting duo, the former still with room for improvement in tackling and the latter's nose for the ball perhaps bordering on too ambitious. With junior Devin Studstill still in the mix at safety and early enrollee freshman Houston Griffith having moved from cornerback, even a recognizable second unit may exist, not to mention incoming freshman Derek Allen. With that development at safety, Love may be able to gamble even more. At least that is the intention. We're going to be doing some things that I think are going to accentuate his ability to play press coverage, Irish head coach Brian Kelly said in March. We want to play some press. It's something we haven't done much here, but it's something Love brings to our football team, and when you can press some guys and have the physicality that he has, it elevates his game. That may be the difference between where Notre Dame's defensive backfield was before the spring and now is heading into the summer. Where the cornerbacks once excelled in spite of the safeties, they may now make even more plays because of the back end. Such progress may not manifest itself in statistical improvement. It should, but there is no guarantee, even if Gilman has a knack for getting to the ball. To have 0 interceptions from the safeties last, that's tough luck, first-year Irish safeties coach Terry Joseph said in April. It's almost impossible to happen. At the same time, pre-snap getting yourself in position, understanding what's about to happen, being half a step late, you're going to be out of position. Those basic improvements could, arguably should, lead to greater returns, be they from the safeties or the cornerbacks. The move of Griffith leading to Coleman's shift when Griffith slid from cornerback to safety in his first few months of collegiate practice, his quick impression made senior Nick Coleman's availability at safety much less crucial. With that in mind, Coleman started getting work in at nickelback, offering an opportunity for senior Sean Crawford to move to field cornerback. Nick Coleman has done a good job at nickel, getting where you are playing some man coverage situations, Joseph said. Just trying to find the best combination of guys. That's why Griffith move was so critical to do it now, where at least we know when we get back to training camp who is going to be the guys in our rotation and we can figure out which spots to put them in. There may be reason to wonder why Notre Dame wants to diminish Crawford's on-field time at all by moving a starter-quality defensive back in Coleman to nickelback. At the least, that will cut into Crawford's repetitions. At the most, it will push Crawford to a backup role behind junior Troy Pride, whose emergence in November and this spring played a part in fifth-year cornerback Nick Watkins opting to transfer for his final of eligibility. Crawford admittedly was not at peak fitness much of 2017's fall after suffering 2 ending injuries in the previous 2 years. He showed himself to be a playmaker once healthy, but perhaps that 2016 Achilles injury cost him an imperceptible touch of quickness. Cornerback, Love Donte Vaughn. Cornerback, Pride Crawford. Safety, Elliott Studstill Nico Furtita. Safety, Gilman Griffith. Freshmen yet to arrive: cornerbacks Tariq Bracy, Joe Wilkins, Noah Boykin and DJ Brown, and safeties Derek Allen and Paul Moala.